Yeah. Did you see a note from me about a lab?
Lab tour?
Lab tour.
Yeah, it's already been worked on.
It is?
Yeah, I'm having staff coordinator.
Okay. And you got in touch with that person?
I asked her to get whatever you sent me.
Yeah.
I asked the person that does the tours to get it coordinated.
Okay.
Well then, if you didn't, you can go ahead and finish.
Yeah.
And the phone number.
Morning, guys.
Morning.
Morning, Wayne. What's going on?
Good, how are you?
Great.
Excellent.
So you did a fantastic day at the district.
Is there anything but?
Not for a while, actually.
Yeah. That's right.
So it's 18, is it 18 even or 18?
It's 18.5, I think. Love this. Open up my glasses. Oh, there it is.
Probably just eat it.
Yeah, I was like, no!
Yeah, I used to have these ones that were rimless, and so if I put them down somewhere, I couldn't see well enough to find them.
I hate when that happens. I'm done. It's 18.5. 2.77.
I just rounded off to 2.8.
Judy? Hello, how are you? Nice to see you. You got it all set up here? It looks like it's already up.
So I realized it's
It's kind of ready to go. I don't see you in there yet. Yeah, you don't see I closed down the camera. Oh, okay. So what does that mean? When you're ready to go, just flip up the lens. Oh, I see. Oh, okay. I don't know what I do. I try to make a little desk here. Yes, absolutely. I can have my... Well, wait till we get the conference room.
Hey, Rolling Hills, you guys aren't muted though. We can still hear you.
Oh.
You're on. I thought he said he could hear us.
Rolling Hills.
Oh.
Okay. No, I'm fine. I have some.
Leaning tower of water.
8 o'clock right now.
They could see me. Where's the mute?
You're on
Oh,
mute.
I'm on mute, but that doesn't show.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are you this morning? Everybody's
Doing
up.
great.
Can they hear me? I don't think so.
We can
Yep, we
hear
hear
you.
you.
Can you hear me, Ben?
Hear you well tomorrow.
Can you hear me, Judy?
Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah,
Fine,
I
how are
hear you
you?
just fine. Just hear you just fine.
Good.
Everybody's up early this morning for our special administrative committee hearing. Do we have any board member concerns?
No, none here.
Okay. Do we have any do we have any more travel this morning that needs action?
No, no travel, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Do we have any board member assistance that need approving?
No, sir.
Or out-of-country travel?
None?
Okay. Item number 5 is Mr. Alatorre.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Dr. Burke and committee members. If we recall, back in 2016, the governing board approved the establishment of a special revenue fund to receive and account for supplemental environmental project monies received from the ExxonMobil settlement agreement. The settlement agreement called for ExxonMobil to pay the district penalties in the amount of $2.3 million for the emissions from the explosion at the refinery back in 2015. In addition to this amount, ExxonMobil is required to pay the district an additional $415,000 for their startup operations this year. In total, the district has about $2.8 million to expend on special projects. Staff is seeking guidance from this committee on how they wish to proceed on expending these monies. Staff is also proposing to conduct, although at a much smaller scale than we did with the AB 1318 monies, similar outreach to interested stakeholders in the city of Torrance.
So I'll take you.
Proposed outreach includes a public meeting near the refinery to solicit ideas on the type of projects these monies should be spent on. We have already received a number of ideas from community members on how they want these monies expended, and these types of projects that they have already let us know how they want the money spent to include additional air quality monitoring, a more robust siren system to warn the community when there's issues at the refinery, also some enhanced education and outreach to the community. With these funds, there are very limited restrictions on how these penalty monies can be utilized. There's no requirement on the monies to be utilized to reduce emissions, but the projects must benefit the community. If the committee agrees on this approach, staff will be prepared to go to the governing board in September to seek approval for solicitation for proposals. If the board chooses to go this route, then staff will proceed with a public meeting to get input from the community on the types of projects they would like funded. Staff will also bring to the board in September a request to issue an RFP for projects. Additionally, staff will establish a committee to review and rank proposals and make recommendations to this committee and the governing board. This concludes my presentation, and staff is available to answer questions.
I think we have some testimony on this item.
Chairman, I thought there would be someone here at my location. They indicated they were coming, John Bailey, but he is not here right now, so I don't know whether he'll show up later. Let me say that Executive Officer Nastri, myself, and others of our staff had a very good meeting with members of the community about 2 weeks ago. And I know all of us on the board have received numerous letters from members of the community on their desires with respect to how this money may be spent. And Derek actually mentioned they have two main concerns. One is they want better monitoring equipment. Here, someone is here now. Let me see. Is John here? No, a gentleman, I think he might be from the public. Have him come in. Okay, yes. Someone has arrived here. But they had two main concerns. Many of them are families with small children. So they're concerned about having a warning system if anything should happen at this refinery. So they have immediate warnings of a danger. And the other thing is some kind of monitoring system that is based in the community so they can know from day to day what is happening at the refinery. And now we have better monitoring systems. They've cited a monitoring system in Richmond at that refinery, and they've asked us to take a look at that. So I think this staff report here to recommend further input from the community, as well as a committee to rank the kinds of projects that they're proposing is a good idea. Let me just see the gentleman who's here. Oh, it's Dr. Eng. Howdy. Come in, Dr. Eng.
Thank you very much.
You want to have a seat here? Would you like to speak?
Yeah,
Good. On that item right now.
Yeah. Thank you.
Dr. Eng is here in our office, and so.
Sorry I'm late.
That's all right.
I got lost.
Oh, yes, okay. So why don't you want to move, move in. You're fine there, I think they can.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Okay.
They can see us both.
So Chairman, if you would recognize Dr. Eng to give some input on this.
Yes, okay, we'll recognize Dr. Ing for his testimony.
Yes, thank you. I gave you some documents the prior time.
Everyone has received the documents.
Yes, thank you. So I just wanted to say a couple of words in support of it. You know, I think that a couple of things, given that there's some spare money, a couple of things that I have seen that are a concern to the community. I listed the top three that I thought were things that were not previously covered. One of them, of course, is being HCN. And you know, I'd like to know, you know, how hard it would be to cover HCN, because it's known to be not very good, even though it's not one of your common things that you cover. And the other one I wanted to talk about a little bit was the catalyst dust that spread all over the place in the original explosion, and I was very concerned that since it's a catalyst, it's not just, you know, made of its constituent elements, whereas the SCAQMD had done a fine analysis of the elemental composition, but it doesn't tell you the chemistry. And so I was concerned also, and I dug up another piece, which I could give to Judy Mitchell since she's here. We got an MSDS for the spent catalyst, and it just says that it's a kaolin, which is basically hydrated aluminosilicate, acid aluminosilicate, and then some silica. And again, so it's clear that may have been what they started with in terms of what they could make their catalyst out of. But I'm really concerned that its bioactivity is very different. And then I think people have had asthma. Going around, I was running for city council, so I got to talk to a lot of people. And I'm really worried about the health effects, and I thought this was a great opportunity to maybe do something to better understand what the community is being exposed to. And thank you very much.
Oh, no, thank you for your...
Dr. Eng.
Yeah, thank you. But what we... the procedure will be, from my understanding, that we will issue some RFPs for input into local projects as requested by Board Member Mitchell. And then it will go through that process. Now, the evaluation, you said something about spare money. That's like, I've never seen spare money, but I'm sure I've heard the saying spare change, but I've never had spare change either. So I'm not sure what that's about. Yeah, but
no, I guess I just wanted some input into the possibilities. I certainly don't, how it would fold into RFPs, et cetera, but it was just something for advisement that I think somehow something could be affected down these lines. I put my 2 cents in for me and a few members of the community. Thank you.
So I think, if I could say, I think your request is that we do more on a health effect study of what the community has been exposed to.
That would be part of the thing that I thought might be, within the charter of what you might ask for.
as a one-way
sure.
for expenditure of some of the funds. So we could add that to our list.
Yeah, that was my whole purpose. Thank you very
I'm
much.
sure that Ms. Mitchell will be an advocate for that and will have significant input and be very effective in getting that. So
Can I
we
add the
appreciate you.
MSDS? Can I get, yeah, I'll give the MSDS a copy to Dr. Mitchell. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Is there
Okay,
anyone
thank you.
else in the other locations who would like to testify on this issue? Okay. Then with no further testimony, is there a motion on this issue?
I'll move it, Chairman Burke. I'll move the item for the staff recommendation of the item with the addition of considering a study on the health risk and health effects of what the community has been exposed to.
Well, I think we'd ask the appropriate people to be in touch with you to help mold that list of things that have the highest priority of the.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if I
So
may.
we have yes. I can't make out
Sorry,
who
that's me,
that was
Mr.
speaking,
Chairman.
but who? Yes.
So I just wanted to explain the RFP process in terms of what you just said, that we would actually provide assistance to the community and we would solicit a broad range of projects. Some of those projects might be a health effect study, some of those projects might be monitoring, some of those projects might be additional placement of various devices in and around the community or the facility. But we'll go through all that as you've requested. And I also just wanted to raise your awareness that there may also be additional funds from other rules that we might be able to apply in the community. We'll provide you with additional information on that.
Can you give me a ballpark figure on how much money we're talking about here?
18.5 million additional.
So the total would be?
Roughly 22 million.
We're getting crosstalk from somewhere. Paul, there's some audio thing going on here. Yeah, the total would be, Wayne?
Roughly 22 million,
22 million?
roughly. Part of that comes
Okay.
from excess flaring at the facility. And so we just received some significant amount of funds from that facility.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
So I have a motion and a second to approve this item. Is there any opposition?
Dr. Burke, you need a roll call,
You
right?
have to call the roll.
Yes.
You have to call the roll. Okay, who's going to call the roll this morning?
Councilmember Benoit?
Nancy will call the roll, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, call the roll, Nancy.
Councilmember Benoit?
Aye.
Councilmember Mitchell?
Aye.
Dr. Parker?
Aye.
Dr. Burke?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Councilmember Mitchell needs to close her door. It's coming from the hallway at her office.
Oh, Councilmember Mitchell, they said you need to close your door. It's coming from
Yes,
your.
thank you. I have closed it now. We opened it when Dr. Ng came in, but now we've closed
problem.
it. Sorry for that
No problem.
interruption.
Item number 6, Mr. Nastri.
Thank you. As the board knows, we made a number of personnel changes a few weeks ago. And during that, we separated the permit and compliance into 2 separate divisions. So what we're seeking is a position that would basically have leadership for the Compliance and Enforcement Office at the Deputy Executive Officer level, as well as one of the other aspects that we made was we combined finance, IT, and HR under the leadership of our esteemed Deputy Michael O'Kelly. That left a role that's open within finance, and so we're looking for an ADO position in finance as well. And so we're seeking approval from the board to move forward to fill those positions.
Any discussion by my colleagues? A motion by my colleagues.
Move approval?
Move the
Move
item.
the staff recommendation, Chairman.
We have a motion and a second by Dr. Parker. Call the roll, Nancy.
Councilmember Benoit,
Aye.
Councilmember Mitchell,
Aye.
Dr. Parker,
Aye.
Dr. Burke.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you.
Item number 7, Kurt.
John Olvera will be handling this item, Dr. Burke.
Good morning, Dr. Burke.
Okay.
Good morning.
How you been? Haven't seen you in a while.
Good to see you, Dr. Burke, members of the committee. The item before you is to approve amendments to the district's records retention policy and schedule and to adopt them into the district's administrative code. The policy and schedule are reviewed periodically to determine whether any changes are required, and based upon staff's review of district records, we are recommending revisions to reflect updates in technology and in the business processes of each of the departments. These changes include the addition and deletion of records categories, the change of certain records retention periods based on the business necessity, as well as some revisions for clarification purposes. And that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions by any of my colleagues?
I had a question that I wanted for clarification from Wayne. Why is this set on the agenda, said September agenda items, because of the non-meeting in August?
Yes. Yes. Yes, Dr. Parker.
Yes, Dr. Parker.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
I'd accept a motion.
I'll move the item.
Second?
Do we have a motion and a second? Would the clerk call the roll?
Councilmember Benoit,
Aye.
Councilmember Mitchell,
Aye.
Dr. Parker,
Aye.
Dr. Burke.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Mr. O'Kelly, you're up to bat.
Good morning, Dr. Burke, committee members. We're requesting to issue one RFP in September to establish a list of qualified law firms for labor employment services. That's out of the general counsel's office. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions by my colleagues? No questions, I'll accept a motion.
I'll move the staff recommendation, Chairman Burke.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Would Nancy call the roll?
Councilmember Benoit,
Aye.
Councilmember Mitchell,
Aye.
Dr. Parker,
Aye.
Dr. Burke.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
Okay. Mr. Alatorre, you're up again.
Again, good morning, Dr. Burke and committee members. This item is to appoint 2 members to the Environmental Justice Advisory Group. The 2 candidates are Manuel Arredondo, who is a former principal at Coachella Valley High School in Coachella Valley, and he's been nominated by Supervisor Benoit. The other candidate is Dr. Jill Johnston out of USC. We had a former, another member from the USC on our EJAG. She has retired, and Dr. Jill Johnston has taken over. Dr. Liu has recommended that she be appointed to EJAG also. That's it.
What is, do we have a specific number of people that serve on that committee?
Yes, there's 30 members on there, and we haven't met that number yet. We're probably.
How many do we have?
I think we have about 18, so we have a lot of vacancies.
We need to put forth an effort.
Absolutely.
To fill that committee.
Absolutely. We'll work on that and come back probably in September to give you some more candidates. But what I like to do, if it's okay with you, is reach out to the governing board members first to see if they have any potential candidates.
I'd be more than happy to work with you.
Okay, great.
Why don't you give me a call Tuesday and we'll start.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
How often does the committee meet, Mr.
So,
Alatorre?
yeah, they meet quarterly. The next meeting is next week, and then the next meeting after that will be in October. So they're on, it's on a quarterly basis.
Okay. I'll take a motion to approve these people.
I'll move the item.
Second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Would the clerk call the roll?
Councilmember Benoit,
Aye.
Councilmember Mitchell,
Aye.
Dr. Parker,
Aye.
Dr. Burke.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Number 10 is a written report. Any, that we would accept, am I correct, Mr. Alatorre?
Yes, just a written report, Dr. Burke from Local Gov and Small Business Assistance Advisory Group.
On item number 11, are there any questions about the September board meeting agenda? Is there any other business before the board, before this committee?
Yeah, I'd like to bring up a potential future agenda item. Chair.
Okay.
I'd like to talk about potentially our organization joining SCAG. There's a regional committee member position at SCAG that's available to an air district by the bylaws of SCAG. So if the Southern California Association of Governments, and they would give us one more voice there at SCAG. We have a few right now. I'm worried in the future we might lose a few voices there, but there's potential for that opportunity for us to join that. There is a cost associated with it, but I'd like staff to look into potentially joining that organization. Then we would have to pick as members who could be our member for that. But just like to go ahead and get that process started.
I think that's an excellent idea. I think that's an excellent idea. And if we have that opportunity, I think we ought to take advantage of it. Do you have any idea on the cost?
I believe the cost is $10,000 per year. SCAG originally had that at $25,000, and they approached me about 2 years ago and asked if we would join. I told them I think that was a little high. They were kind enough to drop the price quite a bit, but I still wonder about the price, but it is on par with some of the other cities in our area as the cost. They do charge everybody to be a part of the organization. So it's just how they operate.
Don't we sponsor a SCAG event?
I'm not sure if they'll count our SCAG sponsorship for different events. That's a good question. I'm sure that's something that we
But we do, Chairman
Yes.
Burke, we are always a sponsor of the SCAG General Assembly, which is held annually in May. So
Sure.
I am a member.
Do you know how much we
Council.
spend there, Ms. Mitchell? Do you know how much we spend on that?
I don't know, but I'm sure our staff knows. Mike probably knows.
Okay.
We actually have
Mike,
some
how much do
idea.
we spend?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know off the top of my head. Wait, Mr. Knapp saying 7,500. Sounds right.
Yeah, it depends on the sponsorship level, but historically, I believe we've been sponsoring at the $7,500 level for their annual meeting over in the desert.
So Ben, if we took that sponsorship, we're only $2,500 away.
Well, I think we need to make this a future agenda item before we just start discussing it. I'm sure our attorneys are probably twitching in their seats, but if we bring this back, maybe the next admin committee meeting is an item and have our staff look into all those different options.
Mr. Vice Chair, we'll go ahead and.
But it is a great idea. I was kind of kidding on the sponsorship thing. Any other comments by any other board members? Any public comment at any location?
Yes, we do. We have Bill Lamar.
Hi, good morning, Dr.
Oh,
Burke,
okay.
committee members. I'm Bill Lamar, Executive Director of the California Small Business Alliance. And I just have a question with respect to item 7 on your records retention policy. I noticed that you have a 10-year retention on notices to comply and notices of violation, and then you destroy them. Will that also include the NOVs that appear on your fine online system as well?
It can. I don't know. I'd have to check with Chris to see how they handle the fine portion of the website, but it should.
I mean, it's the same record, only
It's the
one is
same.
paper and one is
Right.
electronic, so.
Right.
If that's the case, we can.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wouldn't understand how we can keep anything that long, because even with the IRS, it's only 7 years. We're not talking about murder here, we're talking about violation. So, okay. If there's no further public comment, I will adjourn the special admin committee meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and board members.
See you guys in a few minutes with the mobile source.
Yes.
I don't think I need anything else.
Robert? Are we on mute? Thank you.
When we first started webcasting in the auditorium, the meetings, the meeting would be, it would still be live streaming, and people would be